This is Confessions of a Selfish Bitch, the podcast where you stop abandoning yourself and start living the life that you've been sacrificing for everyone else's comfort. I'm your host, Cher. After decades of watching thousands of women shrink, dim, and call self-sacrifice love, I learned the truth. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. Here, we get honest. We talk forgiveness that actually frees you, responsibility that empowers you, and the shadow work that changes everything. Take a breath, and let's begin. Hello, my darling friends. So I feel like I'm finally starting to get a grip on this whole podcasting thing, like not just a grip, but a flow. It's been a really long time since I've been teaching, and this is becoming the outlet that's letting me do that. Honestly, the hardest part of it so far has been when I get the urge to speak, to podcast, and I'm like, okay, this is a great moment, having to stop and put on some makeup and make myself look presentable. I know some of you are listening on Spotify, but some of you are watching on YouTube, and I promised myself that I would not show up looking like a ragamuffin and then stopping to, ask ChatGPT if ragamuffin is derogatory or not, because you never know. So here I am, and I'm so excited. So yes, I was researching our next episode, which I had planned for it to be on non-attachment. And in midlife, this is a major, major theme for us to be able to have some peace in our lives, a sense of self-knowing who you actually are in this new version of yourself, because midlife really is a time of reinvention. And you go through many reinvention seasons throughout your life, but it's almost as if up until this point, you've been trying on different little black dresses, looking for the one that fits just right. And what you know at this point is exactly what doesn't fit just right. And that maybe you don't actually know what fits just right, but you're ready to let go of thinking that you know and making that list of credentials that you need, all of those little boxes checked for whatever it is that you're pursuing, and letting how you feel about something give you the information that you need. I know that was just a big, huge, long rant. Welcome to the world of Cher. It's Cher's rant session. So, but it's a thing, this process of letting shit go, because we're all running around defining our triggers. But what happens is those triggers become actual archetypical patterns. It's one of the reasons why I struggle with the work of therapists. And I know most of my therapist friends struggle with the work because they know that in order to be covered by insurance, they have to give a label to their patients, to their clients. And these labels become identification, and it's a big problem. And we're going to get into why. But one of the biggest challenges that I faced, and I say that in past tense because I've found my way forward through it. One of the biggest challenges that I faced was the how, right? I was always being told, you need to this, you need to change that, because I was seeking, right? Whether it was from my teacher, well, no, my teacher always gave me a how, but, astrologers and tarot card readers and insights and contemplation, and even knowing myself, knowing that there were things that I needed to change in my life. And I knew that there were things that I needed to change about myself so I could have those life opportunities, life experiences that I so deeply wanted and still want. I mean, listen, this is a forever process for me. Under no time, under zero circumstance will I ever come to you with I got it all figured out. I'm always in this process with you. I do, although, possess maybe a couple of steps of experience ahead of you and some insight. I definitely have this ability to insight the rules to living this life, and I don't make the rules. I just basically kind of translate them. So here we go. Letting go of a lot of shit, a lot of stories, a lot of identifications, asking yourself, well, who would I be and what would my life be like and what would my options and opportunities be if I let that story go, if I let that identification go, even down to like grudges, even down to, for God's sake, stop telling the story about what a piece of shit your ex-husband is and then going through the laundry list of all of the things that he's done or is doing because it's holding you back. So my big question was always how? How do I let stuff go? And I have some solutions for you. I actually do, because it was my biggest frustration. I was like, I know I need to get over that, but how? How? Then I came across this practice called WOOP, WOOP. And WOOP was developed by Professor Gabrielle Oettingen. She's a professor of psychology at NYU, New York University. At least she was. I don't know if she still is. I don't keep current on what she's doing, but she also happens to be a princess, which is really cool. I kind of love that. So she studied positive visualization, and I guess you could say like manifesting. And these have been like big trends and big pieces of guidance for a good long period of time now. Well, just manifest that shit. Like, yeah, okay, great. How? Right? And it's so here's the how. Professor Gabrielle Oettingen came up with the how, and she actually did it working with physiology, not only psychology, but physiology. And she studied like, okay, so what happens during the process of positive creative visualization? How come if all we have to do is visualize ourselves in our best case scenario, it's supposed to come true? Why isn't that working? Why aren't more people abundantly happy and fulfilled in their life? And here's what she came up with. There is a crucial step that is missing. So WOOP, the acronym WOOP, stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, Plan. What's your wish? What do you want in your life? Take a moment, pause this. Whatever comes through, whatever gives you the brightest feeling, it's not really a thought process so much as it is a felt process. How do you want to feel in your life in a specific area of your life, whether it's career, personal relationship, family, where you live, whatever it is? The next step is, what will the outcome be when you have achieved that wish? And again, take a moment, pause this, and picture yourself in a day-to-day scenario. What will your life look like when you have achieved, accomplished, whatever it is that you wish for? And again, staying with, how does it feel? That's an important part of it, you guys. You can't think your way through this, because you can think you want one thing and you can think it into a belief, but it's really not what's for you. And you know that if it triggers a sense of crumpling up, of caving in, a feeling of insecurity, or a feeling of, like it's just this imposter syndrome undercurrent that kind of runs there. So you've got to make sure that it feels bright and energizing, even if it doesn't make sense, and especially if it doesn't make sense, because this is what we're going to be moving into letting go of, are the beliefs, the shoulds. I should this, I should that. Got to stop shitting all over me. Let that shit go. Let those shoulds go, I should say. So, okay, so we've got wish, outcome. The next O, and this is the secret sauce, is the obstacle. What is the obstacle? What are the obstacles that prevent you from receiving, achieving, obtaining that wish and that perfect outcome? Now, this is where it gets important. It's not the obstacles outside of you. It is only the obstacles within you, your self-sabotaging beliefs, behaviors, and patterns. Now, this is where the physiology steps in, because what happens is when you visualize, when you do the wish part, and you do the outcome part, your nervous system goes down. It gets calm. There's no sense of urgency. There's no sense of motivation. And these are all physiological processes. They're not just mental flexes. Yes, mental flex is part of it, but it's a physiological process. So when you then look at the obstacle, well, what are my past behaviors? When I get to a certain point, I do what? Pause this video, podcast, whatever, audio, whatever, however you're listening, and reflect. This isn't about talking shit about yourself. It's not getting down on yourself. It's being very real. We are human. You are human. And at this stage of life, you have most certainly picked up some patterns, some beliefs, some behaviors that jam you up. And so let's just drag those babies out into the light. There's no shame. And pointing fingers at anyone or anything outside of yourself is handing your power over to whomever, whatever you are pointing at. You're saying, I'm giving you the authority. I'm giving you the power. Even if it's conceptual or theoretical, right? So stop it. Take it back. Look at yourself. Okay, this is what I do. And it's with courage. You're not talking shit to yourself. It's not a shame spiral. It's with courage. And then the P in the WOOP, because don't forget there's that pretty little P at the end, is plan. What is your plan for when that nasty little self-sabotaging behavior, that obstacle comes into play? What are you going to do? Okay, now I like to link this with James Clear, Atomic Habits, 1%. Strive to achieve just 1%. Make it stupid achievable, so easy that you can't possibly not do it. Okay? So you know that you wake up every day. And this is a great practice too. I love this practice. This is one of my favorites. If you have a tendency to get out of bed and the first thing that you do is go to your phone and you pick it up and you look for messages and you scroll through the internet, and then you head into your kitchen and you make your cup of whatever you make, coffee, matcha, tea, whatever it is that you do, and then. Instead, you're going to do different and simple different. You're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to put both feet on the floor, and you're going to pause. And you're going to say, here I am. Now, in that one very, very simple 1% accomplishment in the direction that you strive to go, you've disrupted your patterns. You've disrupted your processes. Now, here's the thing. You have reached a stage, and yes, I dare to say age of your life, that's saying, I can't change. People don't change. This is how I am like my head wants to explode when I hear people say this. And it wants to explode for you because I have so much faith in your ability to evolve and grow and really live a purpose-filled, soul-level, peace-filled life. You need to have that same faith in yourself. And notice I didn't say easy life. Life isn't easy. Life isn't easy. It's not just a peaceful glide through. Life is a rocky road. Sometimes it's smooth. Sometimes it's sailing. Sometimes it's lovely. Use all the metaphors that you want. But it's a rocky road because you care, because you love, because you're human, because you're living, because this is what we're doing. So you're going to get up out of bed in the morning. You're going to put your feet on the floor and you're going to pause because you're interrupting a pattern. You're interrupting a pattern. Listen, my plan, I'm going to use myself as an example, and then I'm going to let you go. And we'll go on to the next episodes because we're going to speak a lot about non-attachment and non-clinging and all of these things that are super duper slippery slopes. And I want to prepare you. I want to give you tools that you can use so that these are not just theoretical processes for you. You're actually stepping into the art of alchemy. And I want to give you the tools to do that. Okay, so wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. So my wish, I have been in this personal reinvention process for 5 years, going on 6. And I've been doing it very publicly on social media. And there have been many times that I have launched something and then 2 weeks later I'm out, and then I feel embarrassed because I let everybody see it and it didn't work and it was a failure. And I really just want to teach. And if I'm teaching, right, so my wish is to have an avenue to teach that isn't in classrooms anymore. The outcome is I'll be able to travel. I'll be able to go see my one son in Italy and go and do wonderful things with my sons who are living here, and all the things in my life freely. I won't have to be in studios. I'll be able to live my life freely and still teach. But the obstacle within me is when it doesn't hit immediately successfully, AKA when I am not receiving immediate external validation, I start telling myself a story. This isn't working. I drop it, and then I come up with something else. My plan for this podcast is consistency for 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday. I am working on the podcast, whether it's reading and researching, whether it's recording and editing, creating show notes, putting up a social media post, writing an email, one thing a day. One thing a day. So that's working with 1% a day. I don't plan on long days. I don't set irrational expectations for myself. Each day, at the end of the day, I set 1% goal for tomorrow. So my plan is to put Atomic Habits, James Clear, 1% goal, and set that goal the night before and set myself up for success the next morning. So I'm interrupting the process. I'm really trying to get ahead of the process, not even letting it happen. And that happens to me because I go into these it doesn't happen to me. It's what I do, because I go into these really intensive work mode processes and I'm like, all or nothing, boom, 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 got to create this process. And I go deep into it and I'm working and studying and developing 12 hours a day. And then I'm in launch mode. And then I get to launch and it doesn't become this big, explosive, wonderful bestseller hit. And then I'm exhausted. I feel embarrassed and I'm out. So that's my obstacle. I have these cycles that I go through. What is your obstacle that prevents you from achieving whatever it is that you wish to achieve? And what's your plan to overcome it? And make your plan small and achievable. I'm leaving you with a contemplation of what do you need to let go of at this stage of your life? What story? What experience is it time to forgive? What identification is it time to stop? What trauma is it time to stop clinging to as your identification? So you can start creating space and peeling and pulling away the layers of who you should be of this story. Okay, you created a person. You had lives. You've lived lives behind you. You're not expected to become one perfect human being. As a matter of fact, all of those expectations, we're working to drop them off. And it can create a fearful feeling of, if I'm not that, then what am I? What is there on the other side? And that's the reptilian brain, that brain of fear of but I don't know what's on the other side, so I need to be afraid of it. But that's the antiquated brain. That's the old operating system. What if you were open and excited for, you don't need to know what's coming next. You just know it's going to be good. You just know that it's going to take you in the direction that you need to go. I'm going to make a mini-sode on this topic. If you're a reader or an Audible listener, I highly recommend Michael Singer, Not the untethered soul. What's the other one? I'm thinking of Krishnamurti, Think on These Things. That's not it either. I'll put the link below for the Michael Singer book that I'm recommending that I'm totally blanking on, and I'm not going to re-record this podcast because I just blanked on this. So that's it. Ciao for now. I love you so much. The next episode is going to be on non-attachment, letting shit go. We're going to get real. Mwah. See you later. Thank you for being here with me. If something in this episode stirred clarity, discomfort, or recognition, let it. You don't need to rush to resolve it. Integration happens in its own time. And don't forget the mini-sodes. They offer simple yet practical tools to help you integrate what we explore here. Now, if you're navigating a season of transition in relationships, identity shifts, or decisions that call for clarity, grounded perspective, and honest reflection, I do work privately with a small number of women. That information is in the show notes if and when it feels right for you. And if there's a situation you're wrestling with and want a fresh, real life, no bullshit, ride or die best friend perspective on, you're welcome to email me at hello@chermalley.com. I read every message, and I'll do my best to explore it in a future episode or companion minisode. Now, if this resonated, please follow, like, subscribe, and definitely share it with someone who might need to hear it. Take good care of yourself. I'll meet you back here soon. With love, ciao for now.